Hi, my name is Anthony.
My name is Azalea.
And we are
De Los Santos!
So if you didn't see our first video, we're documenting our Keto Vegetarian...
Ketotarian.
Yeah, that works. Ketotarian diet. And who better to interview than my dad? He's been kind of keto since...
Before it was popular?
Yeah, before I even can remember. So a long time. And anything else you want to add?
No, I just got a lot of questions answered, and I think you guys will benefit from this video as well. If you're thinking about going into the keto diet in general, not just vegetarian diet.
Yeah, and I guess for me, one of the things much later in the video, but kind of thinking bigger is like, why did we want to be keto? My dad did a good job of kind of asking us that, other than kind of the mechanics of what it is and the benefits, but really trying to understand, like when you're trying to do any goal, is understanding kind of the background and what's the purpose behind it. So that was kind of cool to see. But beyond that, I hope you enjoy it, and we'll see you on the other side.
Bye.
But yeah, so we're trying to be keto vegetarian starting tomorrow.
Ketotarian?
Yeah, I guess so.
I said vegetarian, keto, vegetarian, but ketotarian sounds a lot better.
Yeah.
Even though
we should just read the books that you give us.
Yeah.
No, like optimize.
So I get what we both have a general idea, but sometimes when it's not always in front of us, we kind of forget. What would you say are kind of the general benefits of keto?
The main thing I would say is inflammation, controlling inflammation. So there's a general term they call it in the aging community called inflammaging. Have you heard of inflammaging?
No.
So everything like as far as chronic disease, whether it's Alzheimer's, heart disease, diabetes, strokes, arthritis, all those, any type of itis, all those things that have in common is inflammation. There's always some sort of inflammation, or even COVID. The problem with COVID, why people are dying, is your body's inflamed, plus the virus, then your immune system goes crazy. So the main thing, when you are able to control your inflammation, because you're controlling your blood sugar, then all those other chronic diseases seem to like dissipate.
Okay.
So you'd say anti-aging in a way?
Yeah, there's a term, like you can look it up on internet. They call it the Keto Facelift. So there's people who lose weight, right? But then there's people who do keto to lose weight, and they look younger. And it's not just the weight loss, but because they're less inflamed in their body, and inflammation shows up on your face and stuff like that. So
that's another reason why I want to do the diet, because I want to know the difference that it does in my face. Because that's one thing I was reading about too. Is like if you suffer from acne, it helps you because of the inflammation that you mentioned.
Yeah. Acne, inflammation, everything that's like deleterious to your health. There's always inflammation somewhere in there. Yeah. And the big thing now, what is the big four, right, is Alzheimer's, and they call that type 3 diabetes. Diabetes is a big killer. Heart disease, cancer, what's the other one? Stroke, yeah, all of those, heart disease, yeah. All of those have inflammation as its bottom line. So if you can control that, then you can be overall healthier. And even if you run a lot, right? If you cause inflammation in your joints from running, and then you eat foods that cause more inflammation, then you get more sore in your joints more, right? Because you're just putting more fire into
less inflammation.
Yeah. So I think I've said it before. Like when I start, like I haven't been as strict lately, and like, oh, my knees are starting to ache again.
Yeah.
But, and I'm not eating more than I used to, but it's by age.
Okay. I have a question, and is what exactly is keto diet, and what tips do you have? Did you already answer it? Yeah. Well, what exactly is it? Keto diet.
Keto diet, it's a metabolic process that you what happens is once your body starts producing ketones,
Mhm.
no matter how you do it, you could drink water and that's it and have no food. Eventually, you'll get into ketosis. Or if you restrict your carbs low enough, you'll get into ketosis. Or say you can even eat a moderate carb diet, but have one meal and then you exercise all day, eventually you'll get into ketosis. So you burned off all the carbs or the sugar in your body, and then your body has to go into a metabolic process. Says, okay, well, there's nothing left. What can I use for fuel? And that's going to be your fat. And that's what it's for, anyways. To use, you need to use that for your fuel. So the body pulls the fat from your liver first, then from your body, converts it to ketones. First, it goes to the brain and the heart for energy, and then the rest of your body can use it. So you, whatever it is you do with your diet or exercise, ketosis is your body starts using ketones for energy.
So first, what I got was that your body uses carbs, then it uses sugar. When it doesn't have carbs or sugar, it starts using the fat as a source of energy.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So as long as that's happening, that's ketosis.
So if, like you said, remember when I was getting ready for my wedding, I cut sugar, and I was mainly eating salmon and vegetables. So I wasn't eating other type of carbs, and I lost weight so fast.
Yeah.
And it was because my body was more likely to be in ketosis because there was no carbs.
Yeah, in the beginning, it's probably inflammation first. So that's the thing with inflammation. So if you have a lot of carbs, the sugar, the extra carbs hold on to more water. So that's why you're more inflamed too. But then when you get rid of that, that's why, oh, I'm going to the bathroom. Well, your body's releasing all that water that was holding on to it. Because it looks at the water as like it's watering down the poisons. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you have all this stuff that's happening in your body, especially if you eat something bad like pizza. And he goes, oh, this is not good for my body. I need to soak up all the water to dilute it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
I did
a lot of people,
understand, but that helped. I get it now.
So people will say, oh, you only lost water. Well, that's good because that means your body's becoming less inflamed. It's releasing all that water that it didn't need to be there anyway.
Yeah. Plus, like you think about like detoxing too. The more water you get rid of is like cleaning your body pretty much.
So there's a lot of talk about carbs and sugars. What is, if we want to do a keto diet, how much restriction or how much should we be consuming in that area?
So there's a big debate on that.
Mm-hmm.
Some people will say if you're active, they'll say, oh, you can do 70. The most common one, most people will say 50. Then people say 50, but if there's a fiber to you can keep the fiber in the 50. And then there's people say, no, you have to add that fiber. So then that'll bump your 50 up to back up to 70. So it just depends who you're talking to. Some people are super strict and they say 30 grams and don't subtract the fiber. And then some people will say 30 grams, but the fiber is okay or something like that.
What would you recommend to us?
Yeah, like
50 is the average.
50.
and
And
see
50
how we,
like net carbs or 50
I would say you could go the first couple of weeks gross and then go into net and then start just tracking things and see how you feel or whatever. Like Mark Sisson always go 150 down to 100, down to 50, and then play with 30 to 50.
And so is Mark Sisson, does he do net or gross?
Gross.
Gross.
Yeah, and then the other people are like, the hardcore people are net, but they see results faster.
with the gross or the net?
Yeah.
Okay. Because that's another question I was gonna ask. Like, I wrote them down, so I'm looking over here because I want to make sure I ask everything. Is
So I
it?
think number 5.
Yeah. How long do you think I mean, stick to this to see any to make a difference in the diet? Like, how long do you see?
Would you recommend us kind of phasing down like Sisson, or what do you? think about
I think that's like a personality thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think because
We have great personalities, so
there's
what's great?
there's moderators and abstainers, I think is what they call it. So there's some people that are better like, don't keep it in the house. If it's in the house, I'm going to start eating it. So those people are probably better at being abstainers, like just cut it all out. And and then there's people, oh no, I have control, and if it's there, I forget it's in the cupboard or whatever. And so I think it's a personality thing.
For us, we get rid of everything, and we usually
It's easier.
it's easier because we can be.
Yeah,
I mean, we don't. For me, my excuse like I don't want it to go to waste,
yeah.
so it's rather not have it. But my question was like, let's say for me, if I go strictly into keto diet, how long do I spend? Like maybe a month or 2 months to see any changes?
Most people I eat at least 3 weeks, within 3 weeks. Yeah. Some people notice right away, like within a week, and some people average I think is like 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
know when I went this pescatarian diet, when I was doing the diet for the wedding, I noticed a difference in a week, and then after
Mhm.
that, I was losing a pound a day,
Yeah.
and I was
Yeah,
losing a few too a lot, but
no, it takes time for your body to adjust because that's part of that one question, that keto flu,
Mhm.
because your body has to learn to go from doing like being a sugar burner, and then it has to learn to switch to become a fat burner.
yeah, that's one thing too about the sugar. When I went in that diet, I had massive headaches,
Hmm.
and I was not in a happy mood. But after a week, I started getting excited because I started losing weight, and I no longer needed the sugar. And I mean, I used to eat more sugar, a lot more sugar back
Mhm.
then. But
Yeah,
now it's like if I don't have sugar, I create fat, which is like the nuts, and it's so easy to eat that.
it's easy to eat too much. That's one of the I was telling AZ, they
Mm.
always say the top four. Was it four, AZ? Top four things that stall people
Yeah,
are nuts, because it's easy to eat too many.
Yeah.
Dairy,
dairy.
fake sugars, the artificial sweeteners, and there was one more, alcohol.
Yeah.
Now, that's not a problem at all.
No,
For us, at least.
but that's I can have tequila.
Yeah, but that's what stops people from losing weight is
Mm.
because, tequila or vodka is keto, so I can drink it, and then they don't lose. Your
But
body will that alcohol calories first,
Hmm.
so that'll stall a lot of people. Of even if I only had a light beer and it only has this many calories.
the
Well,
carbs.
yeah, when you decide to go running or whatever, it's want to, instead of burning the calories off your belly, it's gonna, well, I need to get rid of this alcohol
Mm-hmm.
because this is toxic form of sugar.
It's trying
Sugar
to
alcohol.
get the toxics out. Like you
Yeah.
said, your body's trying to fight that too.
So should we be counting calories and counting our carbs? Like how much should we be tracking things? How much should it be by feel?
Everybody that I trained before that did really well, they track.
Track.
They all track. Yeah, the ones that are like, oh yeah, I did well. I did, I know what I'm doing, and then, but if they sent me a text or they showed me their I forgot what they would use, the
Mhm.
tracking program, or even should be pictures of their meals. Those people were the ones that did really well.
Okay. So if you want, I can send you pictures of our meals every day because I'm gonna
Hmm.
meal prep, and I can tell you based on the recipes like how much supposed to have,
Yeah,
and you can tell me no, it seems like you're having too much of this or not enough of this. That will help us a lot, especially to. I'm
Yeah.
trying. I told you before. I just want to keep it in simple meals as possible until I can figure it out more meals.
Yeah.
it's like in the beginning too. You can have more calories in the beginning to learn to adjust. Some people are like, "Oh, I'm still hungry," because they haven't adjusted yet. And
Yeah.
then you can back down even too.
Okay, that's good
Yeah,
to know. Can eat more.
yeah.
Um,
Would we do pretty good at intermittent fasting already?
Yeah.
Should we continue that process as we transition to keto?
You could try, but for some people it's harder.
Okay.
Yeah, but you should be okay already. But that's something like those are the things, some of those levers you can like ease up on since you're. This is just for most people that I recommend that you ease up on those levers like exercise. So easier on the exercise, easier on like the fasting, just till your body adapts. But that's something I never did.
Just so make sure that we don't get sick, right?
Yeah, because you're going through that process, you don't want it too stressful on your body. But some people do really well, and they still fast and they still exercise. So, but
So
that's one of those things to think about. Like, oh, I'm not feeling it today. I'm just gonna walk.
okay, that's good to know. For example, like if we do the coffee in the morning, like bulletproof, and usually I don't like breakfast in the morning. I think I like it more like after 10. So that's fine. Don't force it. Just continue. If you get hungry, eat something. But if you don't get hungry,
Yeah,
just continue.
yeah.
Okay.
And then over time, once your body gets used to it, then like, okay, now like 3 meals is too many. I'm gonna cut it to 2, stuff like that.
Are you still doing 1 meal a day, or has that changed?
It's changed. I've been snacking more, and then they still have those 90 bars at Trader Joe's routes. So I've been snacking on that, and those have more sugar than I usually have. But it's cheap. It's 99 cents. So
Oh, that's another question I have about is being a keto diet, um, or is it a lifestyle change? Like,
it's to me, it's like lifestyle. But so even now, like so when I'm during the period I'm eating, because those snack bars, I probably kick myself out of ketosis. But then your body is adjusted. So when I go to work and I fasted, and my body will go back into it.
oh,
So it's okay to be the optimal term in the at least the circles I'm following is they say to be metabolically flexible. So the idea is to be like a Prius. When you need gas because you need to go fast or whatever, you have that gas. But if you're just going along your day or you're going for a easy jog, it should be like the electricity. Your ketones should be running the show.
yeah, that's
So people, yeah. So like if you after a few weeks you want to have a sweet potato on the weekend, that's fine. Or if you're exercising more, like tomorrow's gonna be like a tempo run, like a faster run, then you can have a sweet potato or whatever the night before. But in the beginning, you should stay pretty strict.
And so for how long should we be strict?
I'd say 6 weeks.
6 weeks.
hmm
okay.
Cool.
Let me see any of my other questions.
Female versus male.
Oh, yes. I think I asked you the question too, but I was a little confused about the difference between a female being in this diet or a male. Like, because we're both different. I know we take different vitamins. Like, sometimes I need more than sun. Just
People will say that females can eat more meat.
but I'm vegetarian.
They need more iron and some other stuff.
But I take more iron pills than Anthony.
I don't take any.
Okay, I take iron pills. He doesn't. So
B12, all that other stuff. And what's that? People like there's some women they'll say their thyroid slows down, but the over more time with the research, especially for women, they say, "Oh, my thyroid." But what happens is everything becomes more efficient, so it's running more smoothly than before. So that's something that people are freaked out about. Oh, it's going to slow down my thyroid, but not really. It just becomes more efficient.
okay,
That's good to know.
Yeah. Because one thing I want to be able to like, because as I get older, I'm about to be 30. I notice I'm not able to lose
That's
weight.
old.
I know. Lose weight as I used to. I think the first time I worked out with you, I lost 20 pounds in 4 weeks. And I remember I told you I was so excited. I was like, "Is that fast?" And you're like, "Yeah, that's pretty fast." But I was like 18, 19. So. And I wasn't really doing much. I wasn't changing my diet. That was before I knew anything about food.
Yeah.
I was just working out. And now I have to watch what I eat and work out.
A lot of women, they become more fertile going in keto, and then PCOS, people use keto to get rid of polycystic ovarian something.
Mm-hmm.
The thing for women. but it's a hormone thing for women, and keto seems to regulate it.
No, I believe it because a lot of things people don't think about food as a sort of overall health. Like for me, like remember I told you I had acid reflux for a long time, and just being vegetarian, it made it go away. Like if I go to the doctor, they would say you don't have that. And where I used to rely on medicine, if not, I couldn't even get up. Remember, Anthony? I would stay in bed. And now it's like I can actually have tomato paste. Remember, I couldn't have that before. But I mean, with the keto diet, but with the keto diet, I realized that I can't have cherry tomatoes, but I can have tomato in moderation. It depends. Like the big ones, because I think the big ones don't have as much sugar as the ones. Yeah.
Cool. We talked a little about the keto flu earlier. Is there anything to help reduce the odds of that happening, or if you do?
So a lot of people like that mitoplex that I mentioned, but really it's the mitoplex.
Yeah.
It's or you could have just add more salt. Just be liberal with salt.
Yeah, I read something that says that while you're in ketosis, your body gets rid of all the salt. So when I was looking at a recipe, it said, don't worry about the salt, put as much salt as you want. You don't have to measure that. And I was like, oh, wait. You mentioned that we're like, oh, make sure they put salt in your water. And I was like, okay, so I guess in the keto diet, I can have as much salt as I want.
Even in my, it doesn't taste bad to me, but in the morning I have green and black tea, and then I put salt in it. I don't sweeten it. I just drink it like that. Doesn't taste bad to me, but.
So salt, B12, iron.
Yeah.
Potentially effects. Are there any other?
Pickles and the pickle juice. Just make sure that it doesn't say a lot of sugar in there.
I got one at Trader Joe's. It looked pretty tasty, but I didn't read it.
But it's just that loss of minerals that cause people to get a headache and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then your body's kind of working hard. It's working hard to change the system from sugar to a fat burner.
And I have plenty of fat to get rid of. Especially my thighs. There's like my hips.
No, you look fine, girl.
No, I run into stuff. That's the problem because I see this part.
That's your hips.
That's what I said. It's fat in there. What do you think?
I thought you were talking about you said your legs.
Everything from the hips is just all fat. And I run into stuff like the corners of the table because I think I have space and it's like, it is. It's a big thing. Okay. No, if you had him.
I have the shoulders. I run into things with my shoulders. Yeah. It's not fat, it's muscle. Did you have any other questions?
Let's see.
No, just you in general.
No.
Was there anything you think we should have covered about keto that we haven't talked about as we kind of start our journey?
No. Just you could apply your typical goal setting things to it. Like when you set a goals and your whatever you've learned in motivation, how do you coach somebody for goal setting?
Pretty much what you want to be, what your plan is, which you already have our meal prep. How long do you want to try this, and what for how long? There's that ending date to see where we are, and we can go back and see where it has worked, where it hasn't.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that we can do towards this as well. Like make sure, okay, you said to see results in 1 week. No, 3 weeks. 3 weeks. Sorry. So 3 weeks, we check back and see our weight. We do our measurements and see how we feel. So doing a recap, of the whole 3 weeks. How do we feel? Will we change anything? And then from there,
I want to do this because I want to lose weight. I want to be a healthy mother. I want to do that. Do you do that in any of your goal setting?
For me, my main goal is I want to see how. I told you I was nervous into going into this diet because of the fat, And in my brain for the longest time didn't make sense. It makes sense now, but for the longest time was the fear that like I'm trying to lose fat and I'm gonna have more fat. I was like,
Yeah.
what? That sounds crazy. For me, it was like the fear, like plus I was gaining weight.
But you don't have to drown it in the fat. Because
Yeah.
remember, like the main thing is cutting the carbs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then so if you say you get a big plate of vegetables and then you have your tofu or tempeh, your protein, and then you add it up and we'll go, oh wait, that's way below my calories that I need for the day. The substitution is to add in like I don't know, some butter on the vegetables and a some olive oil balsamic or a slice of a side of avocado to make up for the lack of like if you're like, oh, that's not enough calories because we're going to go for a long run.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you don't always throw fat in there every meal or anything. You need some, right? Because there are essential amino acids, right?
Yeah.
There's essential fatty acids, but there's no such thing as essential carbohydrates.
But for me, I can.
That was a moment, Azalea. You missed it. That was a ding. That should have been a light turned on.
But I'm the person that will eat butter with a spoon because it tastes so good. Yeah. But I can have the whole thing. That's the problem.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to have the mindset that is like, oh, I can have fat, I can have protein, I can have all this because that's my diet, because then I will have because even though there's no carbs, it's still consuming so much of it.
Yeah. But I guess we'll backtrack a little bit. The original question my dad asked was, I think, leading towards like when we think about goal setting, the bigger question is why? Like why? What is the impact I want to make in my life? What is the true reason why I want to make this change? And understanding that.
For me, it's easy. I want to live the best life possible can. I want to stay young as possible. I want to be naturally young. I mean, I'm not scared of aging, but I want to slow down the process. But also, like you said, I want to be able to have kids at an older age because there's so much I want to do, and I don't want to feel like I have to have kids now.
Yeah.
Now, older women are having kids at their 40s and healthy kids, and I'm like, how is that possible? And once you read, you see like their diet. It has a lot to do with whether they can have kids or not.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to be able to have my kids like build a habit where my kids can be really healthy and they can pass it on to their kids and hopefully and so on and so on. And like the Gracie family, they don't mix carbs. And I was looking at their diet and I say, how come? He's like, oh, because we always done it like that since generations. That's their thing. And I was like, hey, I want to do something like that with my family.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and I
don't have as big of a vision. You've been into keto for a super long time, and I've kind of been exposed to it, but I've never fully committed to it for a period of time. Like it's kind of been feely. Oh yeah, I'm probably in keto, but never really stuck to a diet. So I kind of dive all full in and see what impact that makes. And then I'm also curious because we're running now, and we're trying to be Maffetone runners and trying to combine the two and seeing how that kind of impacts our running.
Yeah, and another thing I want to know is like I feel like I've been in ketosis before, but I'm not 100% sure. Like when I'm at work, I only have the bulletproof coffee in the morning, and sometimes I get really busy with work. I'll be sweating and I'll be drinking a lot of water because I'm really thirsty. My mouth will be super dry no matter how much I'll be drinking, and I'm sweating. Like if I was working out, look at my heart rate, and I'm like, I'm at my desk and getting up and stuff, and I'm not hungry. And then I eat, and then I'm tired.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's like in that because I don't have to eat, but then I go because it's my time to go to lunch. But I feel like I can still push it because I'm no longer hungry. I'm in like go mode. Like I'm still, and I wonder because I'll be sweating, like I'll be, and I wonder if that's what it is. Because
that's a good sign. They call it the thermic effect of food, even though it was a coffee. Mm-hmm. That they're, and then lots of times, like I don't know if you notice if you're eating, especially if you're eating out, and you're eating, and then you start to feel like a little sweat. Where you feel like, oh, I'm full, but then you keep eating. Mm-hmm. Those bodies send you signals. We just don't listen because my plate's still not empty yet.
Yeah, that's one thing. Like I don't.
We're trained as kids: eat your food, plate.
Yeah, it's not our fault.
Yeah.
Well, now it's your fault.
But it's funny because like, don't waste your food. You know, it's like, but I don't want to eat it. Same thing what you told me before. It's like when you go to a restaurant, you eat out, you don't feel obligated to eat the whole meal. You can cut it in half and put one for later.
Yeah.
And people don't want to bring things home or leftovers, or especially if they're going out and they're going to eat. They don't have to take it to go. They don't have to eat it. They can just leave it. Because I've seen Fabiola done that before. Like where,
Yeah, we always do that.
yeah, like, okay, like I'm not going to eat it because it's not good for my body, like overdoing it.
The number one studied anti-aging protocol is caloric restriction. That's one like across the board, whether it's from worms to rats, and then even studying humans. The human or the cells that are caloric deprived tend to live longer and healthier because they have that chance to go through autophagy and self renewal. The problem, like with because it's always the skinny. You ever see the skinny old lady? She's 97 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They right. You never see like a 100-year-old obese woman.
No.
You see a 100-year-old skinny one. So the problem is like their problems once they get to that age is they have sarcopenia and some other things. And since we know that, we can fight that now. So because it's age-related muscle loss. So if you want to live that age and still be strong, then keep working out and some other stuff.
That's
I remember when
big why is the longevity.
Yeah. For like before when Anthony was in high school, my goals were to just keep up with Anthony with his workouts. See, it was like I never said I was competing with him, and I don't think I ever said it to you. But in my mind, I just wanted to keep up. Then I think he was a junior or something. Said, "Oh, I can't keep up with it anymore," And then okay, now I need to switch because you guys started going like, "Oh, these lovebirds." Then I wanted to be my goal. I would keep reminding myself is to be. I want to be a healthy grandfather because I would look at my dad. Said, "Oh, that's not who I don't want to be." So you kind of come up with an identity for yourself. Who's your future identity, whether it's 2 months from now, 2 years, or 20 years from now. And then what are those virtues that you need to have to embody that person? And then your disciplines. So what do you need to do? I need to intermittent fast most of the week and not necessarily all of it. I need to make sure, like now I'm going through like a carb binge, but I know in my mind I'm going to go back. It's just a little speed bump because I still have that goal to be a healthy grandfather.
Yeah. Plus, I know like before, like when you eat sugar and stuff in the past, you always go back.
It's like a drug. They do the studies where you get a dopamine hit from sugar. But once you learn to suppress that kind of, you're like your taste buds change, right?
Yeah.
After, like, oh, that's too sweet. I used to eat that. Yeah.
We eat 100% chocolate now, or 85%. So like normal chocolate's too sweet to us.
We're like, ugh, yeah. And a normal, like, ooh, that's gross.
Yeah.
Because your body knows you don't need it. I don't know where I went off on the top. Oh, so she's talking about sugar hits that dopamine receptors, those pleasure signals, and then she wants to go back to eating sugar.
Yeah.
But part of like rationalizing that is if we're out in the tropics of Mexico and we're starving and we see like honey or a lot of fruit, it's natural for us to want the sugar because it's a fast fuel. But the problems with our health comes from, well, we didn't always have, until farming, we didn't always have fruit everywhere every day. It was just occasionally, and once in a while in the summer. Summer's fruit. That's when we
I have fruit all year round
in Mexico
now.
Yeah, but like prior agriculture is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like prior, like more than 10,000 years ago, we didn't have that. It was just it would pop up during the summertime or whenever, and then when it got colder, it was gone. And it's only ripe for how long? Fruit, not too long, right?
No,
it depends of the like mangoes are in season at a certain time.
But like an individual one, it goes bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we didn't have refrigeration. Yeah. those are some of the things that I would, I would talk to myself like, oh, that's why we're not meant to eat that. It's okay to have those sugars, but we weren't meant to have that every day for the rest of our lives. Our bodies aren't meant for that.
So my dad said to have sugar in the summer. That's what I heard.
Oh,
People will do that. But again, you want to keep it level.
Yeah.
So Marxism or animal, they'll say, if you go out of it because it's hot and these fruits are in season for your environment,
yeah,
they still want to keep your sugar like 150 to 100. You don't want to bump too out of it.
Yeah.
He's even gone more carnivore.
Who?
Because Marxism, he's even gone more carnivore. Like he used to be known, he'd call it like he'd have his big ass salad.
Yep. Yeah.
Cut back on that because just seeing like, I would force myself to eat that big ass salad because, he thought that's what he needed, but you still need it, but not as much as he thought he did.
No, but as a kid growing up, like in that environment where there was like always fruit, mangoes, oranges, everything was seasonal too. Like there was something always in the trees.
But it wasn't always the same fruit.
There wasn't always the same fruit. So it was always different, like you said. But we have to work for it because we're little, the trees are tall, we have to figure out a way to get there. We'll climb the trees, we will do the work, or we'll get creative and build stuff with like the stick and like to actually get the fruit.
Yeah.
I mean, because I was so skinny and I ate all day, but also we played, we ran, we were active. Outside.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't be like, you would look at me, I have pictures and I was just so skinny and I ate so much. It's just because I worked too. It's not like you go to the kitchen and just grab it and that's it.
Yeah.
Any question?
The Stoic philosophies.
Run!
One of their main precepts is to live in accordance with nature. Like people think of Stoicism as like, oh, you have a stoic face, so like it's like a stone and you don't have any emotions. But that's not really what it's just to live in alignment with nature. So there's certain things that we were meant to do back in our 2 million years of evolution that were meant to be to eat a certain way. We were meant to move. We were meant to sleep, with fairly early and wake up early. These are natural rhythms that we don't do anymore because of, we're on the internet. We have to work, all that kind of stuff. So just like you said, there was always fruit around. Or then think about it, was there always fruit in that same area 10,000 years ago? Or did people plant all those?
Oh, my family planted them all,
Yeah. So they weren't always around because in our ancestors, we didn't really, up until about 10,000 years ago, we didn't farm. We just followed the food, just like other animals did. Because when we go out hiking, I don't see any food out there. Right? Nothing for us to eat. What would we eat out there?
Cactus.
Cactus, right?
I wonder if more people are vegetarian than there's animals.
Oh, they can eat snakes.
Yeah, there are snakes out
there. Rabbits.
Coyotes.
A lot of things. Cool. Is there anything else you think we should know?
That's about it, I think.
Yeah.
Just trial and error, and then if you have any questions that I didn't cover.
I think you covered everything.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what goal is what's your carb goal?
Under 50 for me. Yours?
Total?
Yeah, total. I'm gonna try.
I think easiest for me is carbs minus the fiber and going for 50.
Okay.
Or maybe we aim for 30 if that's easy. If that's a better. Would you do 50 or 30?
I think 50 to start.
50?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to get the flu.
Just more salt, more sodium, minerals.
Pickle juice.
Oh, I love pickle juice. Right, babe?
Yeah. That'd be perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dad.
Welcome.